So, you want to do a podcast. Well, that's a great goal. Hi, I'm Mark from Valor XL, and today I'd like to talk to you about some things you should consider if you've been kicking around the idea of doing your own podcast. We live in an incredible time where there are so many different social media platforms to get your message out to the world. And especially if you're the owner or an operator of a small business or a nonprofit, you have incredible tools at your disposal to share your message with the people that you most want to reach. It's important to take the story of your organization, whatever that looks like, and get it out to people in a way that they can easily understand and digest. And your goal should always be to not simply communicate information, but to get people wanting to come back for more. What makes a podcast such a special alternative to something like a YouTube channel or a blog? Well, both of those are incredibly important tools that you should consider using. But there's definitely something about a podcast that sets it apart. One of the great things with most podcasts is that they're audio only, and listeners can download them so that they can play them back at their own convenience on whatever device they choose, when they choose, and maybe most importantly, where they choose. Many listeners have a long daily commute, and they use that time to listen to their favorite podcasts. Podcasts are great because the person consuming the content doesn't need to do anything visually. It's all audible. And so that opens up many possibilities for you as the content creator. So where do you start if you want to build your own podcast from scratch? Well, the most important thing you need to do up front is to really decide what it is that you're trying to accomplish. Do you want to share information about your small business or nonprofit with people that you think might be potential clients or customers? Do you want to engage with the local community to help identify your role in that particular sphere and how you can help others? Or do you want to engage with colleagues and peers in other organizations for the sake of exchanging ideas and entering into collaborative discussions so that you can come together to solve problems, tackle large projects that a single organization never could, or launch something entirely new through that collaborative effort? Podcasting can provide you with a far-reaching platform that you can use to tell your own unique story. So once you've figured all of that out, the next thing you need to give a lot of consideration to is what will the format be for your podcast? Is it something that you'll host entirely by yourself? Or maybe you'll have a co-host, someone that you can bounce ideas off of. Maybe you can do it almost as a panel discussion, where you have several different people asking questions, giving their responses to other people's questions, and generally having a natural and organic conversation. Maybe you'll have guests, special people that you invite for particular episodes. But you next need to think about the subject matter that you're presenting. Are you going to address a specific topic in each one of your episodes? Or will you do things that may be a multi-part series? Or maybe will you take a grab bag kind of approach where you talk about a variety of topics and subjects that aren't specific to one underlying theme? It's entirely up to you, as is the length of your podcast. Some podcasts are hours long and some only a few minutes. Don't worry so much about a specific time structure. Worry more about developing quality content. And you always want to make sure, as you're putting ideas together for a podcast, that you recognize that the most important thing you can do is to highly value the time of your listeners. So don't waste their time. Make sure that you're giving them value for the money. If they're investing time in listening to you, have something worthwhile to tell them. Don't sell yourself short. Don't do things quickly and cut to the chase, but don't waste time either. And above all, don't repeat yourself. Once you've developed the format, you have subject matter that you've decided on, and you know what you want to do with your podcast, the next thing you have to address involves the technical aspect. Now, don't get scared away, but there are a lot of logistics in building a podcast for the first time. When you're starting off, the first thing you have to address is how are you going to record yourself? Some people have actually done podcasts recording themselves on their own smartphone. and you can certainly do that. But it's worth looking at some basic audio equipment so that you have a lot more at your disposal as you develop a podcast. If you can enter the world of computer-based recording, you have amazing opportunities to do editing, to add music, even sound effects, to bring in clips from other locations, and come up with a high-quality, professional-sounding, finished product that would be difficult to do if you're just working on your smartphone. As a cautionary note, if you don't have a background in audio production, don't learn more than you need to, but be sure to learn enough to get the job done. There's much complexity in the world of audio, and it can become a real-time consumer of its own. If you are doing computer-based recording, you can start off with a microphone that actually has a USB connection. You can plug the mic directly into your computer. That's a good way to go, but you may also want to consider using microphones that have what's known as an XLR connection. These will not connect directly to a computer. You'll need to utilize an audio interface. You can actually find high-quality microphones for under $100 and audio interfaces in the $100 to $150 range, many of which come packaged with audio recording software made by that particular manufacturer. Audio recording software is the next thing you need to figure out. You can use one that comes packaged with an audio interface, or you may purchase a standalone solution. If you're hesitant about investing too much money in something that you don't want to learn all the ins and outs of, a good alternative is a freeware called Audacity. This has been around for a long time, has a massive, very enthusiastic user community, and is relatively quick and easy to learn. You can use a tool like Audacity to record your audio, do basic editing, and even add effects like equalization and compression. And when you're done, render your file out as an MP3, your finished product. That's all well and good, but what do you do then? How do you actually get your podcast out there for the world to hear? That's where podcast hosting websites come into play. There are many, many different options. Two popular ones you may want to check out are Buzzsprout and Podbean. But look at all the different options, because many of these hosting websites even offer free trials. It's a great way to test the waters without committing to a monthly or annual membership. The purpose of a podcast hosting website is to serve as the platform from which your podcast actually gets published. Once you've signed up with a podcast hosting site, you'll be supplied with what's known as an RSS feed. It's a URL that the hosting site gives you, and it's basically how your podcast episode information gets sent out through the internet to different directories, things like Apple Podcasts or Spotify. There are many different directories that you can submit your podcast to. You only need to provide them with that RSS feed one time, and then every time you publish a new episode, that information will automatically go out to the various directories. That's how people can make sure they're always finding the latest and the greatest from you. You need to carefully weigh your options as you enter the world of podcasting to ensure that you're balancing your approach. You want to be able to achieve the best possible results without burdening yourself with a steep learning curve that ends up sapping your creativity. This is all about you communicating, so don't get bogged down. The most important thing you can do is to focus on the quality of the content and then continue to improve your tech chops as you move forward. Once you have your podcast out to the world, then you need to promote. Do everything you can through all of your social media platforms to get the message out. Now, the great thing is, most podcast hosting sites provide the opportunity to link your RSS feed to all of your social media platforms, so any new episodes you publish can be automatically integrated into your YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts. A podcast is an exciting opportunity for you to tell your own story in an amazing way that can touch more people than you ever thought possible, but you need to get started. It might seem overwhelming, but take it one piece at a time and you will get there. At Valor XL, our whole purpose is to help people to get there. You might find yourself struggling right now in your small business or your nonprofit and not even really knowing which way to turn. If that sounds like you, I'd like to offer a free resource for you. If you click on the link in the description below this video, you can download a PDF called Taking Your Organization's Temperature. It'll give you a great insight into the approach that you're taking and show you whether or not you need to make some course corrections. If this episode was beneficial for you, please give us a like. And in the comments below, let me know, have you ever done your own podcast? Is it something that you're considering doing right now? And what questions do you have about the next steps to take? I'd also like to invite you to subscribe to the Valor XL channel. We have new content on a regular basis, and all of it is specifically tailored to help small businesses and nonprofits to truly thrive. I really appreciate you joining me today. I hope that you do undertake your own podcast, and I also hope that you come back for the next installment of Valor XL. I'll see you next time. Until then, goodbye for now.